Hi, and welcome to I Love Mondays. I'm Angela Ambrosia, and today we're going to look at what brings two souls together in a love relationship. So, soulmates are people that you're bonded with at a deep emotional level, the people that you think of in those times that are tough and those feelings that are inspiring. But soul lovers are people who are soulmates that you have an intimate love relationship about. So these videos about soulmates are really about those love relationships where two people are compulsively or inexplicably or romantically drawn together. And in terms of chemical attraction, we're going to review today some of the chemical attractions that you may have experienced in your life and how to start to just find a place to experience them. Now, I want you to experience them in your way. There's no right or wrong way to experience chemical attraction. There's a whole bunch of judgment out there in the world about when you're chemically attracted to somebody, whether you should go with it or not go with it, whether it's right or wrong. And that judgment's going to be there. It's not so important about what the judgment is out there. More important is what's going on inside you, because the most important love story of all is yours. So if you're going to look at how to grow in love, the journey is always going to go inwards about what's coming up for you inside. And of course, if people judge you, you may be one of those crazy relationships where you're with someone that you've got a great chemistry with, you don't understand it, and people outside the relationship are saying those things or judging it or somehow just sending energy or vibes to it that somehow it's not quite something that they would do, and that's fine. That's whatever that stuff is for them. But if you have a chemical attraction to somebody, there's something there that your higher self is compulsively pulling you towards. And love relationships are those fantastic dynamic places in our lives where we begin to be drawn into something that society can't control. That's why I am personally in love with love relationships. I think that's where we get to see our true nature, we get to see our spiritual nature, and we get to see those parts of ourselves that we might be ashamed about or fearful of and begin to accept them and embrace them. And of course, that's what your partner is going to help you do as well. They will either help you run away from those parts you can't accept or dive in more deeply and sometimes embrace and transform them. So part of embracing chemical attraction is actually just seeing that it's okay. And of course, I'm going to say it again because it's a big feature. Our society has sexualized chemical attraction and has made it one-sided, very non-dimensional in some ways, but very linear, very pornographic, even especially today. We've seen the sexualization of chemical attraction to the nth degree today. And that's because right now in our society, we're actually at the point where we need to change something quite old. And that's a very old concept that sex is wrong, that somehow we have to overcome the body, that somehow we have to override our sexual compulsion. We're missing a key factor, even intellectually, if you know that sexual chemistry that draws two people together creates love, creates life. Even if you know that, deep down inside our bodies is shame about that very beautiful process and experience. So today what we're going to do is very simple contemplation and energy transfer to just bring acceptance into your physical body for chemical attraction itself. Now, if anything comes up for you, that's what we're processing. We're going to process any chemical attractions you may have had with lovers in the past, with lovers in the present, with lovers that are around you right now that you think I shouldn't be having those feelings. And we're just going to have a place to accept chemical attraction. Chemical attraction is partly triggered by the soul. Let me remind you, and I'll say this several times when I discuss soulmates, at the soul level, the soul truly has no interest in sex. The soul is sitting up there choosing, okay, I'm going to have this experience and that experience to help you grow in love. And love isn't just about sex. Sex is about a way for the spirit to come into the physical and truly experience all of itself. So the soul's not interested in the act of sex. It's at another dimension. But what it is interested in is you actually having a very intense physical, emotional experience in order to transmute any old energies that the soul might be figuring out, carrying, trying to resolve, trying to move through. Not beyond, not above, through. Okay, so the soul's all about processing through the physical body these feelings, through our emotions, through our physical touch even, and through definitely the chemistry and crazy stuff that happens when you first meet someone. So let's just quickly review the chemistry. It doesn't have to be boy meets girl. It could be boy meets boy, girl meets girl, girl meets girl boy meets girl boy girl. It doesn't really matter. The chemistry is going to be a combination of the male and female hormones, testosterone or estrogen. And then in the intimate act itself, oxytocin gets released. Okay, so the oxytocin one is the one I'm mostly interested in because it doesn't matter whether male, female, or non-gender specific, whatever you are. What happens is oxytocin is released at birth. So the beautiful act of sex that creates life itself, when the child is born into the physical world, it comes out into the physical world, a lot of oxytocin is released in the mother and the child together. So any time that two souls together and have an intimate moment, that intimate sexual moment, and also intimate just romantic moment, this oxytocin is released. So you're re-triggering some of the first beautiful chemicals that remind you or connect you to the feelings, the moments of coming into the mother's arms or coming out into the world. So it doesn't matter if your mother held you or whatever was going on. That does have a very strong influence. But the hormones are there in the child as well to actually help the birth process. So oxytocin is the key overriding chemical that really starts to create this mystery of chemical attraction. Because, yes, of course, your male and female hormones are going off, which prepare us for procreation, to have more babies. But the oxytocin is actually about that connection piece. So even within a sexual or chemical attraction, that oxytocin is about connection. And that connection is the key juice of what the soul brings you together with other souls to experience. The soul is all about connection, connection, connection. Not only because we're all one, but it needs us to connect in order to understand ourselves more. You can connect internally as well. And that's a lot of the processes of what we do on I Love Mondays. But also you can connect with someone else and experience more of that internal connection. So relationships are really the best and most wonderful teacher of how that internal connection is in balance, in alignment. It's got something to work on, experience, or know more. It's not always about fixing. It's really about understanding. And I'm going to use that word in future more, because even that word understanding is a little bit different to what we may be used to understanding in terms of like therapeutic practice or other traditions where we might think I've got to understand my so-called issue or understand the other person. Understanding what I'm talking about from the soul level is actually a process of just becoming more aware. So awareness capacity expands. So understanding at the soul level is really about being able to hold more information and make sense of it. So understanding at the human level or the mind level may tend to be a little bit more logical and then ends up you justifying. So if you're in a relationship and you're using your mind and you start criticizing, well, I shouldn't have gone for that person because of this. I saw all the signals, I saw all the red flags, and I went for them anyway. I can't trust myself. I'm just compulsively doing this, and I should have known better. I should have done this. That's the mind. Okay, the soul understanding, looking at a chemical attraction that may or may not be so-called healthy for you, the soul will go, I'm attracted. That was really intense. I need to go in and ask a few questions here. What's coming up for me? What am I experiencing? What does that mean for me in my feelings now that I have that person, can't have that person? There's a complicated issue. They're not returning my phone calls. What does that mean? What is really going on here? That's a very different experience of chemical attraction. So the energy exercise we're going to do today is really just about creating a place to witness chemical attraction for you, whether it's in your past, whether it's in your present, whether you're feeling like you're not actually stimulated by your partner anymore. What happens is we're programmed biologically to get whiz-bang chemicals going off when we first meet someone, and then the oxytocin comes in and starts to even out things over time. And then we lose that sort of yin-yang of chemicals going off. So we tend to think of other people or other things to get us high again or to get the excitement factor back in. But chemical attraction can also be reignited in relationships. And it's not as physical as you may think. That's why we're still, in my opinion, very, very sort of primitive in our sexual relationship evolution, because we're still trying to create magic from a very erotic place, rather than simply going into maybe a heartfelt place where we actually begin to see our partner and to see what is magical about them at the heart level, at the soul level, at the experiential level of actually feeling the person. And in my experience with relationships that have been more long-term, the point where I actually get to feel the person more is where I begin to get the chemistry back. Of course, it's not going to be maybe for me, because that's not my makeup. It's not going to get me so excited hormonally at the beginning as at the beginning of the relationship. But what happens is a deeper connection. And that's the soul love that we're going to be looking later on in one of the upcoming videos. So the soul love is about what it is to taste that person more, and in doing so, experiencing more of aspects of yourself. So pretty simply put, chemical attraction's not about the outside package. That's going to go, and that's temporary. So the chemical attraction can become more invested in what you want to bring into loving the other person or loving the experience of being with another person. And I think our society is a little bit short-minded, not narrow-minded. We think about conquests or falling in love, and then the rest of the relationship we kind of go, oh yeah, that's kind of boring. So we're still at the beginning of a new version of sexual love and chemistry that I think we can really start to get excited about and think about differently, especially when we take it out of just being a physical attraction, because it's kind of sort of limited anyway. And romance was where we used to do that, and romance in a modern culture has become kind of, not that sexy anymore. It's sort of always limited to the initiation of the first part of the relationship, and the romance that you might experience over longer periods of time is not something we really worship or represent in our movies or our popular media, commercial media. In fact, we tend to see a lot more divorce. So we've lost that belief or feeling that long-term romance is something to aspire to. So today, though, we're going to look more in the energy transfer about chemical attraction, just creating a space for you to feel what comes up for you. If there are judgments that come in, just be aware that those judgments are probably not just yours. Society has a lot of judgments about sexual attraction. It could be religious institutions, could be parents, friends, peers, be aware that any judgments that come up about sexuality or chemical attraction, they seriously are not just yours. The whole society is carrying a bunch of these things. So it's really important for you to start thinking about any judgments that you have around sexuality as not simply your own. They came from somewhere else. And we're going to see how to then bring in the golden light to just allow you to experience the beautiful aspects of chemical attraction that have come for you. So just begin to breathe into the heart and experience what is happening there right now in that heart chakra. Close the eyes and with the breath, feel all around the heart chakra. So when I say all around, I mean up into the collarbones here. With the breath, you can even visualize filling up the lungs all the way to the top of the collarbones. The lungs even move all the way up there. And explore the back part of the lungs as well. So if you go over your shoulders to the top part of the lungs, so expand into the breath there. And feel how the air surrounds that heart center of the chest area. And in the center of the chest, visualize or see or feel the golden light. So this golden light represents the higher consciousness of your higher self or universal intelligence and wisdom. Feel it. As you breathe, that golden circle or light expands and radiates. So with your own breath now, visualize the golden light expanding to fill your entire physical body. And with the exhale, you actually see the light radiating. And now with the inhale, expand that light from the center out to the energy field around the body. So see a circle around the body. And expand the breath into that with the golden light. And as you exhale, that light radiates. So now you can actually begin to feel the entire body filled with that golden light and the energy sphere around the body. And then as we think about or contemplate sexual chemistry for you, just notice what comes up when you contemplate sexual chemistry for you. It could be a person, it could be a feeling in your body, it could be a moment. With the golden light now, you can focus on bringing that light to that feeling body part or that memory. Ask the golden light to show you what are you experiencing. And if there are any feelings or judgments, this is the time now to really ask that higher consciousness and the golden light to come and help you to know the significance of these feelings. If there are any feelings that are unresolved, just ask, show me, what do I need to know more or heal? And ask the golden light to show you. So for any judgments, ask that you can be free of those judgments. You can see any thoughts or feelings surrounded by that golden light, or simply ask to be free of any thoughts or judgments. And for any emotions or feelings, just notice what comes up for you when you see any experiences that you may have about sexual chemistry that you had. Perhaps it was compulsive. Perhaps you felt you weren't yourself. Perhaps you felt that you weren't able to be what the other person needed, or what society or your family or others wanted. Or maybe you weren't able to fully embrace and enjoy the experience. So just notice any feelings about that sexual chemistry. And if there's anyone, including yourself, that you need to forgive or just have acceptance for, ask your higher self and that golden light to help you find that acceptance, or give the forgiveness to that person now, including judgments you may have made about yourself. Ask for the forgiveness and acceptance. Remember that any thoughts or judgments about sexuality are not simply your own, but they come from our culture and society and from those who raised us. So don't feel at any point that your judgments were simply created by yourself. Remind yourself now, with the help of your higher self, that you came here to fully embrace and enjoy and experience the body. So feel the golden light in your body now, creating that place and connection for you to experience and embrace your entire body. Allow the golden light to expand again and fill the entire body from that center in the heart center. Use the breath to allow the golden light to expand into all the extremities, the fingers, the toes, the top of the crown. And then breathe into the heart, taking a big breath all the way from the top of your head down to the toes and the feet, all the way down the body. ground yourself and your energy into the floor below you, and even into the earth below that floor. So thank you for joining I Love Mondays. We'll be doing soulmates throughout this series to look at how to accept our bodies, but also embrace the soul in our bodies as well. I'm Angela Ambrosia. Please contact me at angela@loveandrelationshipcoach.com for your free miracle session. And I look forward to sharing your soul again. Thank you.